Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Kuwait pilot stream. It is 1700 Zulu, 2000 hours local time. Today, we are going to be taking one of my absolute favorite aircraft for a flight from Seattle to Vancouver. It's a very short hop, and the weather is absolutely dreadful in Seattle and in Vancouver. But it's going to be a chance for us to test out the latest beta version of X-Plane 12.2.0. And today we're going to be taking a look at Beta 4. Before we begin, though, I want to welcome all of you guys here in chat. I realize we have a newcomer here. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Welcome aboard. Hello, Rand. Welcome aboard. We have also Billig still. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Renan D. Oliveira, welcome aboard, my friend. Mr. Valero, welcome. Glad to have you here. Ali DZ Games. Hi, my friend. Welcome. Hello, Thomas. Luca, a new subscriber to the channel. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. My very good friend, Dougal McTavish. Welcome. Flybride, welcome aboard. And Mr. Bolspad, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us this evening. Sean, welcome. Chris. And we have also with us Lending45. Welcome aboard. Right, and Sean, welcome aboard. Hello, Carl. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here with us this evening. Today we're flying Jazz Air, and Air Canada is the code share for that airline. I'm not sure if Jazz still flies in Canada or not. But this is anyway, this is a code share with Air Canada Express, and the Q4XP, of course, has just been recently updated. Before we actually go for the flight briefing, I want to show you something here as we go here. Look at the clouds in X-Plane 12. The Beta 4 version looks absolutely amazing. Look at those towering clouds there. I mean, this looks just sensational. Look at that, guys. Look at those clouds. Wow. I mean, this is what we've all been waiting for in X-Plane 12. And now, by default, X-Plane has just beautiful, beautiful clouds, beautiful atmospheric representation of real-world METAR conditions. And this is just wow, I have to say. Very, very good. Yeah. It looks just great. Unfortunately, though, for us today, our cruise altitude is 16,000 feet. And I think for the entire flight, we're going to be flying through clouds. So it's not going to be a very scenic flight today into Vancouver. But the weather is dreadful, and that's what you guys like. So that's what we're going to be going through today. It does look very, very good indeed. Yes. So first thing first, we are going to take a look here at Navigraph charts, the very best available Swiss knife for flight simulation. It's got everything that you need to properly manage your flight plans. VFR, IFR, everything you need is, I highly recommend Navigraph charts. If you don't have it, it's an absolute must-have, and I can recommend it with confidence. So, our flight today is from Seattle, Tacoma International in the United States. We are departing runway 16 left, arriving, we're going to be cruising at 16,000 feet, arriving about 30 minutes later into Vancouver International in Canada, the home of my very dear friend, Captain Canada. As you can see, marginal VFR conditions, so the weather will subside. It is absolutely dreadful here in Seattle, though. We're doing an ILS approach, runway 08 right through the Grizz 7 arrival, and our transition into the final approach into our star is the Papa Alpha Echo transition. The destination alternate today is Comox, again in Canada. Charlie Yankee Quebec. So with that, let's take a quick look here at our flight plan. We'll take a look at our zero fuel weight. We don't really need to enter all the information. We're just going to go for the zero fuel weight. But for completeness sake, we have 74 passengers, about 4,000 pounds of cargo. Total payload today is 17,020. Zero fuel 56,131. And we have about 5,000 pounds of fuel today for our flight. With that taken care of, let's begin with setting things up here. So I'm going to come here. As you can see, the operator is Jazz. Again, Air Canada Express is code share for this airline for this specific route. This is the most current version of the Q4XP by FlyJSim 1.38.2. They have implemented several enhancements and improvements to the INS, or not INS, to the FMC or the FMS. So some holds and some things like that. You can look at the release notes on the Explain org store. So let's go to the load here and let's bring up Navigraph charts. By the way, the crash that we've experienced in our last stream was due to a memory leak issue in beta 3. And that issue has now been addressed in the latest version, or in this beta. So hopefully we'll fly without incident. This is beta again. We can expect anything and everything, but hopefully we'll have a successful flight into Vancouver. Okay, so let's go to select load, and I'm going to go straight here to the cargo. The total cargo is 470, so let's go ahead and add that. So 4070. Actually, let's go just to the zero fuel weight. It's 56131. Okay, so 56131, and that is going to change the number of passengers. And for the fuel, this is going to be 0, and this is going to be 30 approximately. And the total fuel is 5,000. We're just going to bring it to the closest 1,000 here, 5,000 pounds of fuel. And load summary, everything here is, right, the aircraft is airworthy with this information here, about 114 nautical miles. Again, very short flight. Confirm the load, and we're going to say fast load. And that is going to very quickly load the aircraft with the passengers. As you can see, close the door, and we're good to go. That's just to save time. Of course, if you like to watch the passengers boarding the aircraft, you can always select load and just wait for the fuel truck and all the other equipment to arrive at the aircraft and refuel. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the overhead panel here, and we are going to assume that we have completed the walk around, the flight inspection, battery master on, battery, main battery, auxiliary, and standby battery all on. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to cancel the master caution here and turn on the primary display here. And we are going to turn on the display on this side here so that we can check the battery charge real quick and make sure that the battery is operational before we start with the APU. Again, as I've always indicated, with the Q4XP or the Dash 8 Q400, you want to really establish electrical power as soon as possible with either the GPU or the APU. Otherwise, you'll drain the batteries very, very quickly. So we're just going to verify the battery here. As you can see, all the battery loads are showing a negative charge right now, and it indicates that the battery is draining. So we want to start the APU. We're going to move here to the overhead panel. And the proper way to test the APU is to click on power here. And once you see the fuel valve open, now we can do the fire test. You'll see that the valve is closed and the bottle is armed, indicating that the fire system of the APU is working exactly as it should. Perfect. Let's test engine 2 fire test and engine 1 fire test. And now we can start. Okay, and next we're going to test the baggage compartment fire test and the forward baggage compartment, which is the smaller one at the front of the aircraft. Okay, next we're going to come here, recirc fan. We'll turn that on. We'll leave the bleeds off for now. And now we can see that the generator is ready. And we'll come down here. Let's go ahead and turn on the generator. And bleed air is now open. Next, we're going to come here and turn on the non-smoking and fasten seatbelt signs, arm the emergency lights, position lights are on. And next, we're going to move to this side, and we're going to come to the, we don't need the boot air, pitot static. We're going to turn these buttons on, and windshield on norm. We're going to turn on the window heat on the pilot side. And we are pretty much now good with the overhead panel. Perfect. Next, we are going to, now that we have electrical power by the APU, we can now start bringing the rest of the displays. And you can see now that there is a positive charge there on the battery, meaning that the battery is no longer draining. And as we have the APU powering up the aircraft. Brilliant. Let's bring up the displays. We're going to bring up our UNS devices to life. And we're going to move down here and turn on the radio devices as well. And we're going to turn on the rest of the displays. There we go. Here, I love that flicker. And by the way, the Dash 8 does this in real life. So this is a true to life simulation of what those displays look like in real life when they are started up. And let's see here. All right, so we have the UNSs powering up now. Perfect. Let's bring it up here so you guys can follow along. I'm going to make this bigger here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Excellent. Accept that. And let's see. Hello, Travel Videos Turkey. Welcome. Glad to have you. Hello, Aviator. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you with us. All right. So let's see here. We are going to go directly to fuel. And from the fuel, we are going to just put our data here. Since we've done a quick load, we can just enter the information here. So the zero fuel weight is 54813. So you can either, by the way, enter passengers and cargo, or you can just enter the zero fuel weight, which we are going to do today. 54813, 813, enter that, and fuel on board is 5,000. It's already gone down because the APU is running. So you can see that this is, again, very accurate simulation of the Dash 8 Q400. You can see that because the APU is already running, we are consuming some of the fuel that's available for the aircraft. We're going to put 4988, 4988, and enter that. And that's the gross weight of the aircraft. Perfect. Next, we're going to go to the flight plan. And if we look at our flight plan, you'll see that there is no SID for this departure. At 16 left, we're going to make a left turn after departure to intercept our flight plan. So we're just going to come here and we're going to select the menu and we're going to select depart. We're departing runway 16 left, which is number 2. And enter that. There is no SID, so we're just going to say enter and go back to the flight plan. Next, we are going to go here to our flight plan. All right, so direct to Papa Alpha Echo. So the next waypoint is Papa Alpha Echo. And then it's actually our destination, which is Vancouver, Charlie Yankee Vector Romeo. Enter that and accept. And next we're going to select here. Then the arrival. The arrival is going to be runway 08 right. That's number 2. Enter that. And the star is the Grizz 7 arrival into Vancouver. So that's number 3. Enter that. And the approach is, the transition is the Papa Alpha Echo, which is number 2. We select that, and then it's the ILS 08 right. So we're going to select number 1. Enter that. And do we have a YVR? Let's see. Let's take a quick look here at our approach plate for 08 right. That's 08 right. Right. So do we have that transition here? We do not have it. That's the VOR station, actually, which is right here. So we can safely ignore that. Yeah, we can put it there. But yeah, that's okay. We'll just say enter, flight plan, next. And we actually don't need any of that. So we can actually, okay, let me show you this approach real quick. So this is NACMA. And you can see here the vectors. So we can actually go to, after the vectors to final here, if I go next, Booble is the next one, which is this one here. So this is going to be just fine that we delete the vectors to final. This would be normally given by ATC. So we're going to come here and delete this no link thing, and then go to the previous, and we're going to remove vectors to final. So I'm going to click here and delete that. And then it's from NACMA. So this is NACMA right here. And then we're going to make the turn here to the Booble fix. And then 083 heading to the runway 08 right at Vancouver. So this should be just fine for our flight. Okay. So all right. Okay, perfect. So everything is done here. And if I go now to the flight plan, let's see here. Flight plan. There we go. That's our flight plan. Next, next. And that's runway 08 right. So very short flight. Excellent. And then we, oops. We can put this away now and close the FMC. Everything's pretty much done now in terms of the FMC. So now we're going to, or the UNS, beg your pardon. So we're going to bring this one. Let me make this bigger as well so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to accept this, and then we're going to use a master exfil, and we're going to select from FMS1. Gotta love the details there with the Q400. And we're going to put this on VNAV, and we'll put this away. And excellent. We have everything here ready to go. Right. Let's set up the first, by the way, this needs to be on taxi. I don't know why FlyJSim hasn't fixed this, but this should be automatically on taxi when the aircraft is in cold and dark state. So there we go. All right. Hello, V-Skycheck. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us here. 113 direct CVR, then tab P is the map. Thank you very much, Carl. Appreciate it, my friend. All right. So the final cruise altitude is 16,000. So let me move here so that you guys can see this one here. So I'm going to set this to 16,000. Okay, 16. Come on, 16. All right, let me see if this is easier. It is easier that way. All right, so 16,000 is set. And we are going to set the nav source to FMS1. So that now gives us the direction in our flight plan. So we're going to fly a heading of 347 after departure. So that's good. There are a few tests that we need to do before, but let me just set up the aircraft here real quick. We are going to turn on the click on Alt Select. So that's going to take us, and we can also actually do VS, but we can do that after we we'll use IAS for the climb. Okay. So everything here is looking good. We can turn this on, by the way. I love how the displays come to life in this Q4XP. Very, very nice. Okay, so everything here is good. Electrical systems are good. Let's go ahead and perform a few checks. I have, I think, those are, look at those engines. All right, let's see. Where is it? There we go. So we need to do a few tests, and I'm not sure how to show you this, but let me move away a little bit. Maybe this way you can see both the display and the buttons. All right, so takeoff warning test is checked, and IAS test 1 and 2 are both checked. Stall warning test 2 and 1 are both checked. Excellent. Steering we'll leave for the moment, and then we're going to come here and click on the GPWS test.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Excellent. And that is now tested, and we need to test the auto feather system by pressing and holding the auto feather button. Now you can see that the auto feather system is testing. Up trim. See the test here. And we'll just wait for the test to complete. All right. And everything else is in tip-top shape. By the way, all the circuit breakers are modeled and are functional on this aircraft. So if you want to simulate emergencies, you can definitely do that with those circuit breakers. Okay. So now we have everything ready. We're going to go to the overhead panel. And we're going to make sure that the beacon is set to the red light. And we also need to arm the anti-skid system. And that is all set now. Excellent. And now we are actually ready for push and start. I'm going to turn on the standby. That needs to be turned on after engine start. So we'll leave that for the time being. Now, I do not have the proper setup for the fuel levers here. So they start together. So that's okay. So normally you start one after engine start, then you take it to max, and then you do the same for the second engine. But for our flight today, we're just going to move them together and leave them in the start and feather until both engines are up, and then we'll move them to the max position. Our radios are good. Everything here is good, and we no longer need this page. So I'm going to set this on nav, and that is going to give us the navigational display here on the first officer side. On this side, I'm going to remove the weather and terrain so that we have a clear display of what's going on here. And the TCAS format, everything here is good. That's fine. Let's see here. So to set this to TIRA, you need to press and hold here. So we're going to put 2000. There we go. So 2000 is set for our IFR flight. And everything else is pretty much ready to go. And the beacon lights are on. Let's go ahead and bring the pushback truck. So we're going to go to plugins, better pushback, and start
Ground
push.
to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
All right, well, we'll just bring the aircraft right over here.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving
And
up.
the tow is driving up. All right, let's put the nav source for this side as well on FMS 2. FMS 2 obviously is mimicking what we have in FMS 1, so we have the same flight plan there. And everything else is good. All right, let's check our altimeter real quick. So, no, we need to go to Seattle. And the 3020. Okay. So let's set the baro. Altimeter 3020. All right, 3020 is set on both sides. And we are good now for engine start.
Okay, all doors and
Look at the
hatches
beacon
are
light,
closed,
guys.
ready to connect.
All right.
Windshield strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
All right. Now, once you release the parking brake, the pushback truck actually comes in and locks in. It pulls the aircraft forward, and that's how it starts pushing the aircraft. And once it's done, it will start pushing the aircraft, and we'll get our clearance to start the engines. Very, very bad weather here at
Starting
Seattle.
pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, here we go, and we have clearance. The pushback has now started, and we can start the engines. We're going to start with the engine number 2. So we're going to come here and select engine number 2, click start, and we're going to watch here for N2. Okay, and feather and start. You have got to watch the startup of the Q400. Look at those engines, guys. Oh, yes. All right, and let's see. Let's go ahead and start the engine number 1. Start. And the engine number 2. Second engine is now starting as well. Very nice livery, the Air Canada livery. You have got to really admire the animation of those props there. Very nicely done by FlyJSim. Right. And if we look here, that's good. We can now put the fuel levers to max. And listen to the engine sounds. Oh, yes. Just lovely. All right. Let's cancel the master caution here.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right, parking brake is set. We're going to remove the
Disconnecting
control
tow.
lock.
Stand by.
And let's configure the aircraft now. Let's come over here. We're going to check. We're going to put this, we'll leave this. We can turn on the bleeds. We'll leave the bleeds off for now. We can now turn off the bleed air generator and power off the APU. And we can turn on, I believe this is the taxi lights. So taxi lights on. And everything else is ready. Perfect. All right, so we're going to move this to taxi.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
And there you go. Your flaps are set. Very, very nice details. And we are now ready to go. We're going to taxi to runway 16 left here at Seattle. First, we need to perform one check here. So standby hydraulic pressure is on. PTU control is on. And we're going to check here for the hydraulic pressure. This is number 3, which I believe is a secondary or a backup hydraulic system. So you don't need that actually for flight. So we're going to turn that off. We need the auxiliary fuel pumps to be on and the auto feather system to be on as well. All right. Everything's ready. Let's cancel the master caution here, and we are good to go, ladies and gents. Why did you stop using Auto Ortho Q8? Well, it's not always, you don't always get the patches everywhere. Sometimes it's just an immersion breaker. So, yeah. All right, so we are good to go, and parking brake is released. This is beta. One thing we forgot is the steering. There we go. And we are good to go now. All right. Everything's looking good, and we are ready for departure. The Dash 8 has got to be one of the best airliners developed for X-Plane 12 and for flight simulation. In my view, it is a lot better than the Majestic Dash 8. Sorry about that. I think I came too close to the mic. It is better than the Majestic Dash 8 for P3D and FSX by Majestic Software, although that aircraft is truly a study-level simulation of the aircraft, and in a lot of ways resembles what you see in real life. Only second to the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJSim, which in my view is a far more refined rendition of the Dash 8 for flight sim. Right. Very dreadful weather conditions here in Seattle today. So I'm sure we're going to be using our anti-ice throughout the flight today. This aircraft, by the way, is very, very sensitive to icing conditions. And the icing conditions are properly simulated in the Dash 8. So if you don't use, if icing conditions exist and you do not operate the anti-icing aboard the aircraft will most definitely crash. So yeah, we need to, fuel is controlled automatically by the FADAC. Yes, this aircraft is incredibly powerful, and the FADAC does a lot of the things. The engine start is assisted by the FADAC as well. So very well developed small little plane by Bombardier. All right, so this is 16 left right there. I crashed once due to turning on the anti-ice too late. Yeah, that can happen for sure. So if there are icing conditions or you're flying through clouds, it is highly recommended that you turn on the anti-icing. Otherwise, you will more than likely crash. So yeah, once ice starts formulating on the aircraft wings, and this is perfectly simulated in X-Plane and specifically on this Dash 8, the aircraft will eventually lose altitude and stall and crash. Guys, if you are enjoying this stream and you are having a good time here on the Q8 Pilot channel, I'd be very grateful if you could smash that like button for me. It does really help the channel quite a bit, so I'll be very grateful if you could support me. Thank you. X-Plane 12 has simulated icing physics by its own. Yes, it does. All right, so here is our runway, and this is 16 left right there. We're going to go to the far end there. It gives us a little bit more runway. All right, there we go. And as we approach the runway here, we are going to turn on our landing lights and turn on the exterior lights to white, and that is equivalent of your strobes. Okay. Here's 16 left. We are cleared for departure. As you can see, after departure, we're going to make a turn to intercept the flight path. So here we go. You have got to love the Dash 8. Very, very nice plane. All right, runway 16 left here at Seattle. And you can also notice the runway slope there. All right. This is much better than the Majestic Dash 8 for sure. All right. We're good to go, folks, and the maximum torque is set to about some 90% or so. All right, here we go. And we are going to move this to light. And off we go. Takeoff power set. We forgot our speeds. 134. V1, rotate.
10.
Right, we are airborne. Positive rate, gears going up. We'll maintain runway heading until we clear the runway and then begin our turn. Right, we are above 1,000 feet, and let's bring the props to 900. Right, let me pitch the aircraft down a little bit here to gain speed. And let's begin our turn. We have to be very careful as the visibility is almost none. All right, and yaw damper is on. Flaps up. Autopilot. And yeah, over speed. Let me bring the throttles back here a little bit. we want to go... Yeah, we were definitely too fast. So let's go to heading.
Terrain, 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 terrain.
All right, we're going to go to IAS.
Terrain, 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 terrain.
And let's see here. Where's our range? There we go. Excellent. All right, there we go. All right, now we're in business. Very difficult when you can't see anything. What is it doing now? All right, we can turn these off. And we can go to nav. Did we lose an engine? Ah, what happened here? I thought I heard something. Why is it not going? What happened here? Huh, I can't move the props. I really am not sure what happened. Ah, there we go. All right, I figured out what happened. All right, let's go to 900 again. Yeah, I think it's one of my controls. But thankfully we're fine. All right, we don't need the PTU and standby hydraulics now. All right, I think we need to go to, all right, let's take a look here. So I'm going to go to slow. We're going to turn this here, and we're going to turn on the anti-icing system as we travel through the clouds. Yeah, it was definitely less than a perfect departure, and the situation was exacerbated by the lack of visibility. But we were able to recover. This aircraft, by the way, is a wonderful aircraft to hand fly. So highly recommend that you hand fly this aircraft. It is quite a bit of fun. All right, looks like we are above the clouds now. Oh, look at that, guys. Wow. Check it out. Those clouds are looking really, really nice. Far in the distance there. Lovely. All right. We can now increase the range a little bit. And we continue the climb to 16,000 feet. Now, I know you guys are really waiting for the landing. It does look very good, yes. Interesting departure, yes it was. I've had issues as well with my thrustmasters, so I do have a couple of sliders set to the mixture, and that has caused the mixture to go down during flight, and even made it more difficult, especially when you don't know what's going on. So, all right, so we are good here. We're looking good. 16.3 nautical miles. All's looking good. 900,000 feet. We are going to turn off the landing lights. And I think since we're outside of the clouds, we can go ahead and turn off the ice protection. There we go. Excellent. Lovely propellers there. Very, very nice. All right. Looking good. 10,000 feet. And, oof, we forgot our packs there. So we caught it at the right time. Otherwise, we would have killed everyone on board, including the captain and first officer. Right in time at 10,000 feet. The weather is quite cold, so I'm sure the passengers are very glad that we've turned on the air conditioning system. Let's keep it warm. Right, perfect. About 4,000 feet to go for our cruise altitude. Is any other FlyJSim aircraft coming to X-Plane 12 anytime soon? I wish I knew. I don't know. Is this the latest update? Yes, it is. If you look here, this is 1.38.2, and it is the latest version. Available now on the Skunkcraft Updater as well as the X-Plane.org store. Look at those clouds, guys. Yeah, this doesn't look right here, but other than that, looks pretty good. All right, so if we look at Navigraph charts, let me move this here real quick. And if we look here, it says 90 nautical miles. So if I move this down here, all right, so we're still good. One more thing. What is the platform altitude? We have alt select, right? Yes, we do. Okay, so what is the 08 right? So let's take a look here. It's 3,000. Okay. And we're going to need the frequencies, which is 109.5. Right, we're coming up to cruise altitude, so we'll bring the props back to 850. And we're going to bring the throttles back as well. About 60% will probably maintain the speed. All right, 221. And what we can do now, folks, is the following. Once we are at the next waypoint, we will configure the aircraft for our arrival. So we'll just wait for the aircraft to stabilize here at this heading, and then we'll perform all the necessary preparations for our arrival. So 109.5. We're going to come here to tune. And we're going to put, actually we can come down here, it's easier, 109.5. So click here, and then 109.5, and set that as the active, and we should see it here, and it will indicate here that this is an ILS, so it knows that this is an ILS frequency. And the approach course is, let's take a look here, 083. So the easiest way to do this before arrival is to do the following. You can first, you want to make sure that your heading is set right. So I'm going to set it to 328, which is our current heading. Okay, so that's 328. Then I'm going to go to heading mode. So I'll click here on heading. Then I'm going to change the nav source to ILS, let's see. All right, so that's ILS 1. And we're going to change the course here to 083. So let's see here. Come on. 083. All right, 083, and we have the frequency, that's 083. And now simply go back to nav source, go to FMS1, and then go back to nav, and that's LNAV. And now we have set up the frequency right before arrival. That's the easiest way to do it without having to fiddle around too much with your instruments upon arrival. It reduces your workload during the arrival, because the arrival with the Dash 8 requires a lot of skill from the pilots. So you don't want to be fiddling with instruments and setting your course, especially when you don't have a co-pilot with you. Hello there, Sander. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you with us. It's been a while. Glad to have you here with us. And I spent most of my time creating keys for X keypad Stream Deck instead of flying the aircraft. I make them for... All right, 16,000. I think we are going to begin the descent now. If we look here, yeah, about 1,000 feet per minute. So I think that's a good time for us to begin the descent. Again, very short flight, but here's a look at the clouds here. Again, look at this here. Yeah, this is looking really nice. All right, so we are going to come here to the altitude, and we're going to set this to 3,000. All right, 3,000 is now set, 3,000, and we want to set our altimeter as well. So 3,000 is set, and we're going to come to Vancouver, and 3015, 3015 is set. We want to click here one more time to get the approach speed 133. I highly recommend, guys, with the Dash 8 is to do always a flaps 15 landing and add to that about 5 knots or so. So 138 is going to be our approach speed. We'll take a look at that once we are closer to arrival. So we have now, let's go back to flight plan, and we're going to begin the descent. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go to Alt Select and then VS, and we're going to descend at 1,000 feet per minute. We're going to bring the props back to 900. Ease off on the throttle here to make sure that we don't overspeed. And we have now begun the descent towards Vancouver, Canada. Welcome to Captain Sander. Thank you very much for your support, my friend. Truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Call that maneuvering speed. Yes. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. It's a speed that will give you a cushion to turn and such when not in trouble. Thank you for that, Carl. Appreciate it. There's VNAV 2. VNAV doesn't really work on the Dash 8, and according to many real-world pilot accounts, they don't use it in the real aircraft. So, all right, so we want to make sure for landing, we're going to come here and set the GPWS landing flap to 15, as this is the maximum flaps that we're going to use today for our approach and landing into Vancouver. Right, 13, and if you look here, we still have descent to destination, so about 1,000 feet per minute, so we are good. Everything's good. We are 63 nautical miles from Vancouver, so all is looking good, and those clouds are looking just fantastic. Yeah. Very, very nice. And according to Laminar in the Beta 4 release notes, they've also changed the sky colors in Beta 4 so that it doesn't look too orange or too yellow. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the shading of the clouds are just outstanding. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Right, 13,000, about 10,000 feet to go. We are looking good. And let's very quickly, guys, check the weather. All right. So the weather at... we have the winds 110 at 5. Visibility's 20. And we have broken clouds at 1,300, 2,100, 4,200, 5,100. Wow, that's a lot of clouds. And the ceiling is 13 feet. Temperature's 13. So I think we should be fine. Nothing too serious in the METAR here. So I think we should be fine. It'll only take Q8 pilot skill to land successfully, hopefully. We'll see about that. I have landed, I have done some really nice landings with this aircraft in the past. This is the very first flight that I do in quite some time. Since the last time, I think you guys really digged my last landing in the Dash 8. We'll see what happens this time. Again, I don't promise anything. I have a tendency to mess things up normally. So yeah. There's a lot of things done for this beta update. Yes, the release notes are quite extensive, and I'm very, very happy with what the Navigraph has done with this update. Generally speaking, it's just really looking very, very good. All right, 12,000. Again, we're looking good here. And if I increase the range here a little bit, you can see that we're almost there now, as you can see. So let's bring that back. It will give us enough time to configure the aircraft properly for the arrival into Vancouver. Here, the sun is looking great in this version of X-Plane. Yeah. Again, this aircraft has a lovely passenger cabin, as you can see here. Fully interactive. You can use you can come here and there you can use the food trays. I think you click here again and then yeah. All right, let's see if that works. There we go. Finally, you can open the compartment, which is pretty cool. You can open the doors. Pretty cool. All right, we are at 10,900, so landing lights on. And we're going to make sure that the fasten seatbelt signs are on as well, which they are. By the way, we should have turned off the main bus tie switch off after engine start. So we'll leave it off for now. Looking good. And there you have it, ladies and gents, the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJSim, one of the very best aircrafts developed for flight sim, in my opinion. And probably this is the most active project for FlyJSim. The 727 and the 737 Classics have not really received that much love and are not compatible yet with X-Plane 12. So that's a bit of a bummer in my view. But no, please don't crash, X-Plane. Be kind. Thank you, X-Plane. All right, so there was a pause there, guys. And I was kind of getting worried. So hopefully it won't. Now this is, of course, something that, you know, we expect to have. I mean, we don't expect, but we shouldn't be surprised if it does happen, as this is a beta release of X-Plane. But probably a more refined beta right now. Beta 4 normally in X-Plane is, yeah, with beta 4, I expect maybe 2 or maybe 3 more betas, and then maybe we'll move to RCs, like release candidate, and then we'll probably have the final release of X-Plane. All right. Looking good here as we approach Vancouver. The weather is definitely a lot better than the weather at Seattle. Davalent closed their plant in Canada. That's too bad. But it's very nice and widely flown. Yeah. Is this version already available? Yes, it is available. You can update through the Skunkcraft updater, or you can re-download the aircraft from the X-Plane World store. The HR would be a nice addition for X-Plane. It would be really cool if FlyJSim created that aircraft, or developed that aircraft for X-Plane. All right, we are at 8,237. I think we can bring back the throttles here and start reducing our speed a little bit. But I'm telling you guys, I am really loving X-Plane right now. It looks just gorgeous. We'll take a look at the night lighting once we land. So, there. Looks like, again, they need to fix this rain because it's highly unrealistic. But yeah, those the overcast conditions are done well, I think, in X-Plane. Still needs work, so not 100% perfect. But again, you can see also the ships here. Very, very nice. Adding to the living world in X-Plane and making it a little more plausible. Plausible world was the word when X-Plane 10 was being promoted by Laminar. Alright, I'm going to ease off a little bit here on the throttles, bring them back. I want to start reducing our speed now as we approach our destination. I'd like an HR. I fly the one in MSFS. It's okay for 10 euros that I spend, but it's not good. It's all right. It's not bad. I've flown the ATR in Microsoft FlyJSim 2020, and like you said, it's not bad at all. It's actually, it's an enjoyable aircraft to fly. Yeah, scenery is where MSFS wins. That's for sure. All right, we're looking good. And here's another look at the outside. Look at this aircraft, guys. And look at the details from FlyJSim. This is, again, this door here opens when you open the icing, the prop anti-ice. This door opens. So everything is, again, even the animations on this aircraft are done very, very well. To recreate an authentic experience of the Dash 8. Right, looking good. The we can decrease the rate of descent, perhaps. Let's go to maybe 800 feet per minute. There we go. 800 is set. And if we look here at Navigraph charts, that's what it's saying. It's also giving us about 800 feet per minute. So everything is looking perfect right now. We have our course and ILS frequency set. So everything is in tip-top shape for our approach. Is this default weather or active sky? This is default weather gold engine, and thank you very much, sir, for your support as a captain. I appreciate it. Q8, can you explain something more about the opening door of the prop anti-ice? Oh, so if you go to, if you open the engine intakes here, right, let me turn this on, and if you go now to the aircraft, you see this little door now, how it opened? So this allows the air to go in. So these are the engine intakes right here. So it brings cold air into the aircraft. And that's how it cools down or heats up. The air is it enters there, and then it heats up from the propellers and keep the engine warm. And it pushes it back, and then it keeps the props warm. in icing conditions. And now, hello random flight database. Now if you look down here after we close the anti-icing system, you can see that the engine intakes are now closed on both sides. So again, very, very detailed animation. Very interesting, yes indeed. All right, so we are approaching 3,000 feet. I'm going to turn back the standby hydraulic and PTU control. The auxiliary fuel pumps are on. You do not need the auto feather for the approach and landing, so the auto feather is only required for takeoff. How are you doing, Random Flight Database? Glad to have you here. Thanks for making a stop. I appreciate that. All right, so we are almost at our platform altitude, and we are looking good. Everything is set for our arrival, and we should level off at 3,000 as we approach the final leg of our flight. Looking good. Q8, what are some of the best GA aircraft for X-Plane 12? Well, you've got the Airfoil Labs aircraft, the King Air, the Cessna 172. You've got the V-Flight Air Pipers. They are all excellent aircraft. You've got the Aerobasque GA aircraft, which are phenomenal. Real Sim Gear has a real nice DA62, I believe. And then you've got also the TorqueSim SR22 and the SR20 Integra. Those are also excellent general aviation aircraft for X-Plane. So all of these are excellent. I'm sure I've missed some, but those are the ones that come to the top of my head when I'm asked. They are just excellent. Very, very good. All of the ones I mentioned now are just really very, very good. Right, I'm going to bring the throttle a bit forward here to maintain speed. We don't want to lose too much speed at this point until we are ready at the final approach into Vancouver. You can see we're flying through some clouds, and if you look here outside, you can see it's very foggy here and very cloudy at this altitude, which again the METAR has indicated correctly in Navigraph charts. So let me reduce range here. You can see when the turn is coming, and we want to make sure that again we don't fall much below this speed here. You do not want to fall below 133 at any point during the approach. Otherwise, you're more than likely going to either stall or you're not going to make a very smooth landing. So we're going to make sure that we keep the speed at about 140 or so, maybe 138 as we come into land. And one thing to remember, guys, with the Dash 8, when you approach the runway, when you are at, let's say, 50 feet or 20 feet, do not retard the throttles. That's the one mistake that everyone does. And if you do that, the aircraft is just going to fall out of the sky and slam into the runway. With the Dash 8, you want to keep the throttles all the way until the landing gear touches down, and then you want to bring it back slowly and then activate the reversers. Never retard the throttles while you're still in the air. The Dash 8 likes to land itself, so just let it do what it likes to do the most, is land itself. And if you don't let it do that, you're not going to like the results. Tail strike is a big risk too. Yeah. Gotta remember, this is not a jet. It is not a jet. That is right. Yes. Keep the power up till you are in the flare. Yes. All right, here's our turn, and we are definitely flying through some clouds here, as you can see. So the conditions are not. Look at that. Again, the fact that Laminar has fixed the issue with the cloud artifacts is something I really like. So now you don't have this fuzzy-looking, you know, grain over the aircraft when it flies through the clouds. So this is something that was a long-standing issue with X-Plane. It looks like they kind of toned down the lights a little bit too. They kind of look better. All right. So we are at 3,000. Speed is good. We're going to maintain 200 until we are, you know, once we reach about halfway through the current waypoint, then we will start reducing our speed further. But everything is kind of looking good right now. And yeah, we're at the... got a few more minutes before we land. Thank you for all this information about this plane. Do you use the new Beta 4? Yes, I am using the new Beta 4. So far, it works pretty well. The performance is very good, I've noticed. And it looks phenomenal. The clouds are looking just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm sure that they will continue to improve as we move towards the final release of X-Plane 12.2.0. All right. So yeah, the visibility isn't that great. About 20 nautical miles. About 20 miles is the visibility. I'm going to start bringing the speed down a little bit now, so that once we are at the turn, we are maybe at about 180 knots or so. So let me bring that back. There we go. 24. That's going to help us slow down the aircraft a little bit. Excellent. And yeah, we're probably not going to see much, guys, until we are below 3,000. So we're definitely going through some layers of clouds and fog. Weather isn't very good today for a Dash 8 to fly, but nonetheless, we are adventurous people, so... All right, let me just give it a little bit more throttle here. I do procedures, but sometimes not listening to the plane better. Plane not controls, you control it. Yeah, that's true. Training and good flight discipline will help you die as a very old man and not a young one. Absolutely. Gods will not help you when you need a proper procedure. That is very true. Is X-Plane pausing? It is pausing, and please, X-Plane, do not crash, please. Oh no, I think X-Plane is gonna crash, guys. Oh, not again. Come on. Right before we actually land. And it looks like here's another crash for us today. Unfortunately. Well, I don't know what to say, guys, but this is the second time in a row. I think it went back. Did it move a little bit? No. Yeah, the sim is about to crash. Do I leave it? What do I do? Why does it do this? I am waiting. Leave it. Sometimes it gets back. It did it once. But yeah, it's pretty much frozen right now. So try to use without Vulcan. I will send you a DM. Alright, thank you, V-Sky Check. Well, I don't know what to tell you guys, but this is the second time in a row now. And yeah, it's pretty much frozen. It's stuck, so If you click on it, it will probably fail. That's pretty much what's going to happen, yes. Ah! What do you know? It's come back. Woohoo! How about that? You can hear the excitement in my voice now, can't you? Woohoo! Can you do a Shift 8? Well, I don't know what Shift 8 does, so... All right. So, oh, our speed. Let's watch our speed here. Okay, I'm going to go to flaps 15. We're going to put the props to maximum. I am so glad that it came back. And, yeah, I wasn't ready for it to crash today as well. It would have been a very sad moment for me. I found that changing to the outside view decreases the memory required. It might, yeah, it might. Again, we don't want to gain speed at this point. We want to probably maintain it. So flaps 15, or flaps 5, beg your pardon. And yeah, flaps 10, or flaps 5. Okay, so we're good here. And yeah, again, you can see the clouds here. Oh, look at that view, guys. Look at that. Wow. All right, so it's complaining about the bleed. So we're going to put this here and turn the bleeds off for landing. And here's our turn. Let me put the range here so we can have a better look. Not too worried about the speed right now. But I'm going to ease off a little bit on the throttles. Right, here's the turn. And we begin the turn now towards Vancouver. 4.8 nautical miles to Bubble. Or Bubble. Scattering of light is amazing. Yes, it is absolutely amazing. The clouds are truly magnificent. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're looking really, really good. Laminar has really done a brilliant job with this version of X-Plane. Guys, I am really thrilled that we did not have another crash today. Let's not jinx it, though. We still haven't landed, so... All right, there we go. We're looking good. And we're coming up here to the final approach. And here's a nice look at the aircraft and the clouds. I think we might need to go to flaps 10 at this speed. You can see the aircraft is pitching up, so I think we need to probably go to flaps 10 or increase the speed, one or the other. All right, here's our turn towards final approach. So I'm going to, we can see that there. And here's the turn. So what we're going to do, folks, is the following. We are going to go to nav source, and then we're going to go to approach localizer. And you can see the glide slope needle as well as the localizer here. All right. Looking good. Let's take care of our speed here as we come into land. We have captured the localizer. We are looking good as we align with runway 08 right at Vancouver. Right, looking good. We can see the glide slope needle starting to move as well. So I'm going to go now to flaps 10. And we're going to lower the landing gear. Now, the reason why I like to do this early is the Dash A is very sensitive to the landing gear and the flaps, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust your speed for the approach. So we want to make sure that we do this a little bit early, and yeah, we can have the speed. Let me just click here one more time, make sure. All right, so as you can see now, the speed is 144, so we want to keep it there. I'm going to add a little bit of throttle here, as it will decrease further as we move to flaps 10, beg your pardon, flaps 15. So we're looking good here, and the aircraft will begin descending shortly as the glide slope needle starts moving down below the center. All right, you can see GS is active now, so the glide slope is now active. And we want to keep the speed here. Let me just adjust the throttle again, make very small changes, and monitor the speed. Again, when we move to the flaps, the final flap setting, the speed will decrease. So we're going to go to flaps 15 now, and you'll see that the speed will start dropping a little bit. All right, let's see here. It's still. Just ease off on the throttle here. All right, there we go. $2,500. Right, we want to slow down the aircraft, so I'm just gonna idle the power here momentarily, and we have the runway in sight. That's good. And we'll keep it at flaps 15. We are on the glide slope and the localizer. Let's bring back the throttles back now. Right, we're looking good. Very nice clouds. Look at that, guys. Alright, speed is good. We're going to keep the speed where it is. 144 is the approach speed, as you can see. And you have to keep updating this number here, simply because it changes. It calculates it based on the weight of the aircraft and the outside temperature, as well as the altitude. So all of these factors will play a role in determining your speeds. I have made a tutorial on how to calculate the speeds manually, but FlyJSim allows you to just click here to get your speeds. Right, we're looking good here. Let's add just a little bit of throttle. Again, not much, just make very small adjustments. Alright, we are going to disconnect the autopilot, hand fly the aircraft. Autopilot off, yaw damper off, my aircraft. And we want to watch the speed. A little bit of wind. We're a tad too low. $100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. All right. Maximum reverse. Welcome to Vancouver, Canada, ladies and gents. Not the best of landings, but not bad. Right, let's take this to taxi. All right. Well, what do you guys think? It was all right. Thanks, Dougal. Appreciate it. All right, we could have gone here. That's all right. We can go there to the terminal. I think we can go to this side as well. I think that may be a cargo terminal. I think there are smaller planes here, so we'll just go to this side. All right, the taxi lights on, landing lights off. We'll go to red light, and let's see here. We can bring... Oop, I missed the turn. All right, that's all right. We can just go to this side. That's all right. Looks like this is a cargo terminal, though, but that's okay. We'll just bring the aircraft to a stop somewhere in this part of the airport, and we'll begin the unloading of passengers. Yeah, this is more than likely the cargo area, but that's okay. All right, so we have our taxi on. We can retract the flaps. There we go. Excellent. What a lovely aircraft, and just really a very enjoyable flight with the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJSim. Now we are going to take a look at the replay at the landing. I hope the sim doesn't crash though, just considering the pause that we've had earlier. So let me set the parking brake here. And let's see if we can do a quick replay, then we will shut down the aircraft. All right, so let's do this. And let's see. Yeah, I think it will... There we go. All right. So far, so good. No indication that it wants to crash. That's good. That's still beta. Yes, the Gigliotis. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. It is a beta version, yes. It is beta 4 now, so the release has been, I think it came out today. So let's do a few replays here for your viewing pleasure. Always a pleasure to watch the Dash 8 landings. We were, I think, slightly off the touchdown zone, and we were a tad too low when we came to land. All right, so this is 500 feet. All right, there we go. Okay. Something strange going on there, but here we go. Look at those clouds, guys. Wow, look at the sky color there. And the Dash 8 is just absolute. Look at that view, guys. Wow. You see the lights there, the scattering, the sky color? It looks just fantastic. I'm too afraid, James, to move the slider and crash X-Plane, so... All right, here we go. All right. There, look at that view. Yeah, we are definitely outside the touchdown zone. But the landing was a nice landing nonetheless. Not totally legal, but yeah, we'll get away with it in this sim. All right, let's do it here one more time. Pretty cool, huh? All right, let's do one more time, and then we'll do maybe a wing view.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Pretty cool. All right, we can say stop the replay mode. And back in the aircraft here, we can now start powering down the aircraft. So we can start the APU. So we'll click here on start. And then the bleeds are already off. We can bring up the electrical, we can bring up the GPU. So if I come here, connect GPU, auto connect GPU. Okay. So let's bring up the power back here. No, not that. There we go. Just lovely. Right, we can turn off the taxi lights. We'll leave this one on. Position lights off. Actually, we'll turn that one on. We'll leave this one off. And we can turn on the bleed air. So now we have the power coming from the APU. And we can turn off the bleeds are already off. And turn that off. Let's take a look here. Everything here is good. We turn on the main bus tie. And we are ready to unload the passengers. And you can see now that the GPU is there. So we can actually turn off the power here. And if you go here, external power is on. And now we can turn off everything else. Everything here is good. Everything here is good. And we can now go to the back. So let's do that. And we'll move this way. And right here. And there we go. And start unloading. And the plane is now deplaning and waiting for the baggage cart as well. And there you have it, ladies and gents, the Dash 8 Q400 by FlyJSim in X-Plane Beta 4. We had a short pause today, which kind of, it really scared me. It gave me a good scare, but but we finally made it, and the sim recovered from whatever it was thinking about. So I'm very glad that we had a successful stream this evening. It was definitely a lot of fun. Really enjoyed being with you guys this evening. You really made this stream a really fun stream, so I really enjoyed being with you guys. I still haven't, you can see now by the way, the door is opening there, the baggage, because it waits. It assumes that now the baggage cart has arrived to unload the baggage. So very, very nice aircrafts, very detailed aircraft by FlyJSim. I haven't yet decided on our Saturday stream, but I will, as always, do a quick poll for you guys to decide on what you want me to fly next in the sim. If the PMDG 777-200 ER is live by then I will more than likely purchase the aircraft, and we will do a stream in the 777 by PMDG on Saturday. If not, then there will be a poll for you guys to select what you want me to do next. Well, folks, this brings us to the conclusion of our live stream this evening. It's been a lot of fun, and until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye for now.